Hi guys, welcome to my channel and to the second annual Journey in Beauty Award. This is the second year that I'm doing the Journey in Beauty Awards. These are similar to Jessica Braun's Jammy Awards or the Emily Awards with Emily Noel. They're just the things that I've been loving all year long, the things that won my heart in each category. I have some fun little awards and then some straightforward favorites by category. So this might be a long one. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get into it. So let's just start right off the bat with my favorite brands that I discovered this year. And these are brands that I really didn't have a lot or any experience with prior to 2019. And I call this the best actor or actress in a leading role. I have an affordable brand and a high-end / luxury brand. So the affordable brand is e.l.f. I jumped on a full e.l.f. train this year. I bought bronzers and blush, and eyeshadow palettes were a huge win this year from e.l.f. I've tried like skincare or base products. It was the year of e.l.f. for me, and I'm so glad because this is a highly underrated brand. I think when I started my journey in beauty, I just thought, e.l.f., yeah, that's that brand that you can get things for like $1 or $3, but they're probably not that good. So I'm really glad I discovered some new favorite products from e.l.f. this year. And let's talk about high end. It is Charlotte Tilbury. And this is a brand kind of like Natasha Denona that I almost hesitate to talk about on my channel because I don't ever want to give you the impression that you need these things. These things are 100% not a need that I've purchased from Charlotte Tilbury this year or that was gifted to me from my hubby from Charlotte Tilbury this year. But these are like an experience. Sometimes you're paying for functionality or practicality, whether it mean in any area of your life, and sometimes you're paying for an experience. A silk blouse is never going to be a need, but it's an experience that feels really good on occasion, and that's how I look at luxury makeup. I know that it is a luxury. So that being said, it's Charlotte Tilbury. I've tried a bunch from her this year. I hope to try more from her next year, specifically maybe a base product like a foundation and non-palette type products from her. Next is Best Actor or Actress in a Supporting Role. And for me, those are favorite tools of the trade for the year. I have a couple of brushes, but first I want to mention the Juno & Co. Velvet Sponge. This one's not wet, so it's not at its full size. This is a brand new one, however, so it's prettier for the Journey in Beauty Awards. Anyhow, this is a velvety or a velour finish on the sponge, and this is fantastic. I used to be a beauty blender girl all the way. I just like the quality. However, I was able to get 4 of these on Amazon for less than the price of one of the beauty blenders. So I had to try it. Lots of people have talked about these and love them on YouTube, and I absolutely agree. I loved the beauty blender, but I just think that this works better, specifically where under eye concealer is concerned. I think it works better than anything I've tried for that specific purpose, and that's something I'm always trying to perfect because life, age. And then I have a couple of brushes. The first one is very affordable. It is the e.l.f. 105 brush. This is from their Beautifully Precise brush line. And what I love this for is any kind of cream product. It's not I started out loving it for cream bronzer, but this is a little small because I have a big forehead and a big face in general. But I do love this for cream blush, and I especially love this for the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter, like the cream highlight. it just blends that out like a dream and really helps it meld with the skin. So I do recommend these. I actually would love to have a second one. And then the last tool, it can be purchased at Target, but I would not call it affordable. This is from Sonia Kashuk, and this is the large powder brush. I just want to have a pillowcase that feels like this because holy moly. I mean, as you can see, the bristles are just cut to the like finest precision. It's so soft. It is fairly dense, so it does pick up a good amount of powder, but I also love the effect of pressing in a powder with this powder brush. It's just everything that I always wanted in a powder brush. Does the Real Techniques, I think that this is powder brush, work sufficiently? Yes. Do I feel like I get the same experience between these brushes? Not necessarily. This one functions, this one is a joy to use, and that's the difference. The next award is for Best On-Screen Duo, and these are two products each year that aid to my looking flawless on camera. Neither of these is the same as last year. I will let you know if any of these are award winners from last year, and I also will link what might be a cringy 2018 Journey and Beauty Awards for you in the description box in case you're curious. So the two products I picked actually have come into my life in the last half of the year. For me, it is the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer and the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I love these, and this like makes my skin just look super smooth. I don't know, it just causes my makeup to look really, really beautiful. Absolutely, I'm wearing it today. I'm finishing off this little sample guide, and then I did go ahead and purchase the mini just to see how much I continue to use it. Sometimes I'll use the sample up and buy the full size, and then I'll get like a month or two into the full size and I'm like, I'm kind of sick of this, or I've found something better, or what have you. But I love the way it smells. I love the way it makes my skin look. I love the way it feels. It's just a beautiful primer, and I do feel like it is a nice barrier between my skin and my makeup. And then the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is beautiful. I have mine in shade 3 light medium. I like this anyway. I could smear this over my face and be happy, but how I generally use it is just in this most highlighty place on your face, either before my foundation or before I powder, because oh my gosh, it's just smooth. It just looks like your skin is glowy. You can't tell that there's makeup there, at least in my humble opinion. It's just beautiful. So these two together are just absolutely a dynamic on-screen duo. And then the last award before we get into the categories for now is Best Couple. And this was the best palette combo, in my opinion, that I found that I enjoyed the most this year. And they're both palettes that I did get this year, one way earlier than the other, but it is the ABH Norvina palette and the ABH Carly Bible palette. I just think these are a match made in heaven. I love, love, love my Norvina palette. It's one that I waited quite a while. I did not jump on it right away, but I'm so glad that I picked it up. And then when I saw the Carly Bible palette, at first I was like, I don't know, I just probably don't need it, and I probably don't need it. But these two together, I just think, I don't know, it's just my perfect palette. It's almost like if I could make a Lorac palette, this is what it would look like. Or if I created an ABH palette that had this many shades in it, this is what it would look like. This is very consistent with my feminine, maybe not today, boho sort of vibe. I just think these are a beautiful combination of colors. I just really do. I think there's a good amount of shimmers, a good amount of matte. I think that these just pair really beautifully together. It's like they were made for each other. I don't even know what to say. They're just stunning. I love these shades, and I love the quality of both of these. I would say that Carly's a little different from Norvina formula-wise, but both good and both still consistent with the formula. You know, ABH, depending on whether it's Subculture or Soft Glam or Sultry or whatever, it's kind of inconsistent in a consistent way, if that makes sense.
It's going to be a very long video.
All right, let's talk about Best Kiss. How I do this is bullet lipsticks, liquid lipsticks, and lip gloss. And I have an award in each category for formula and then a shade. So, talking about bullet lipsticks, both the formula and the shade come from the same product, and that is the one I have on today. It's the Maybelline Superstay Ink Crayon. I always want to say matte, but that's the liquid lipstick. This is what the Superstay matte liquid ink whatever liquid lipsticks should have been. First of all, they have a very handy little sharpener that comes out of the end that you can sharpen the product if you want a more precision application. I personally don't find that that's necessary for me. This is what it looks like. Lips are the only thing I'm going to swatch or will be here for 10 years. But like I said, this is the shade that I'm wearing today. I love this color. So I do have 4 of these. This one is Accepted Dare that I have on today. This is Lead the Way. This is Own Your Empire. And this is Live on the Edge. This one, my baby girl Hannah bought for me. These are the shades. I love all 4 of these shades. These are exactly the type of colors that I would like to keep as liquid lipsticks, and these work well and are as long lasting as a lot of liquid lipsticks. Just way more comfortable and way easier to reapply over itself. So I do highly recommend these. Moving on to liquid lips, the formula that won it all for me this year is the L'Oreal Rouge Signature Matte Liquid Lip Stains. It doesn't say that anywhere on this packaging, so I had to write it down. So I have the shades Represent and Choose. And I love both of these colors. I will say that this one right here, well, flapping gorgeous. I can't wait to wear this in summer. It's going to be stunning. It stains like an SOB. Like it stains. So these are those 2 shades. I like this. First of all, I love the freaking applicator. It's very, very thin and pointy, and it has a little bend, as you can see. And man, is every product that has a doe foot for lips should come with this doe foot, because it's fantastic for getting in there, especially if you don't like to use a lip liner or don't have a lip liner to match every single thing in your collection. I highly recommend these. They're very, very thin and therefore comfortable. And even if you put a balm or a lip gloss over top, they stay present. They don't start to wear away. That's the stain part of the factor, I would guess. And then in terms of shade, this comes from the NARS Power Matte Lip Pigment line, and this is in the shade American Woman. This is just a deluxe size, and I actually have 2 of them because I love this so much. So this is just like my perfect rosy terracotta nude. This is actually more like a liquefied lipstick. It is long lasting, however, so it's why I included it in this category. But this is my perfect nude, and to boot, it's long lasting and comfortable. For the 2nd year running, my favorite formula for lip gloss is the Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumpers. I have 3 shades here. I have finished countless tubes of this over the last year or so. The first one here is Soft Rose. The middle shade here is in line with the cult favorite blush Luminoso, and the bottom one is a newer shade to the line, which is called Rosewood, and my personal favorite shade. And my favorite color of lip gloss that I own is the Bobbi Brown Crushed Liquid Lip. Damn it, I never get it right. And this is in the shade Give a Fig. This is definitely a winner for formula as well. It's not a liquid lip, it is a lip gloss. And here's the shade. What would I call it? It's like a dusty coral or coral leaning terracotta. Like, I don't know, but it's beautiful. I absolutely love this. And the formula too. Boy, did I lie to you? I have a couple more special categories before we get into the of the year awards. And the first one is Best Hero, and these are hero skincare products for me. And I've picked 2. I would love if I could find the 100% right eye cream, and I think I'm as close I'm going to get, and that is the Kiehl's Creamy Eye Treatment with avocado. This is beautiful. This is the most hydrating thing that I've tried. It's very thick, it's lightly green tinted. This is my second or third one from the year. This one's under $40, which is about my max for eye cream, but if I can use this both day and night, which is how I've been using it, it's the best I'm going to get, I'm pretty sure. I'm tired of trying eye creams, if I'm being honest. And so this was a real hero for me this year. And then for the second year in this category is the Skin Iceland Blemish Dots. This is my last one. I have a replacement on the way. Comes with 48 dots or 4 of these little 12 dot things. Hopefully you'll be able to see here that, you know, these are where the stickers are, and then there's some missing. There's 2 different sizes, so that's why you can see that I've kind of taken smaller ones, or, you know, whatever. These are amazing. If you have a pimple, zit, blemish, dot, whatever you want to call it, a friend maybe coming in, then you just put one of these on overnight after you cleanse, but before you put your moisturizer and stuff like that on. It's a sticker. It needs to stick to bare, clean skin, and in the morning it's gone. It's just gone. It's sorcery. It's magic. It is unexplainable. If I'm being honest, but it does. And because I'm someone that just, you know, really has like the occasional hormonal breakout, or I ate a lot of crap this weekend breakout, too many chips, and I'll tend to break out a little bit around my mouth, all things that mostly can be avoided. Since I'm that type of person, these are economical for me. Obviously, if you have a real problem with acne, this actually might bring you some pain relief. If you have some larger blemishes that you can tell are coming in, this kind of nips it in the bud, or at least helps it to heal or go away faster. It's very rare that I have to put a second dot on the same blemish a second night, if that makes sense. Once it's erupted, once you've popped it or whatever, it's pretty much too late. But, you know, I think most of us know our skin well enough to know when a blemish is coming in. So these are a must for me, and I am happy that I'm able to repurchase a replacement. Okay, really the last category before we get to the individual categories is Best Fight, and this is a product that I've changed my mind about. For example, last year my winner for this category was the NYX HD Studio Concealer, and I figured out that I really liked it by way of panning it. It changed my mind. This year I wanted to give the award to more of a category or an overall group of products versus a specific product. And that is cream products. Have a lot of us sort of opened our minds to the idea of cream products this year? Yes, we have. Why? Because we've been bombarded with it in terms of new releases. I'm not going to show you my cream products in this video because I bought a lot, but I will refer you to my ranking my cream products video. I'll have it down in the description box for you in case you're curious just what kind of cream products I have and how I feel about them. Woo! All right, moving on to the good stuff. This is individual categories in a full face of makeup, excluding a couple like brows and setting spray because I don't really get excited about them and I tend to buy the same thing. So, first one is primer of the year, and the way I break this up is hydrating and matte. So the hydrating primer that I have absolutely been loving this year, you can add this to the list of things that Emily Noel made me buy because she could sell me a ketchup popsicle whilst wearing white gloves. And that is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. This is somewhere between a moisture and a primer, and that's what they call it, all-in-one primer and moisturizer. It does have I don't know, like a lemony herbal scent to it. So if that's something that might bother you, keep that in mind. They do sell a small squeezy tube of this for $20 if you don't want to pay the ridiculous amount that I paid for this. But I love this. One of the reasons I love it is very hydrating, but also it's one of these products that I can just use this. Like obviously I wear sunscreen, but I don't have to wear sunscreen and moisturizer and then this and then a primer. I can just wear sunscreen and this, and I love it. I love the way my skin feels. This is very thick. This is not like a cream. This is not liquidy or anything. It's very thick. If you have reference, it's similar to like the texture of the Tatcha Silk Canvas or the e.l.f. Putty Primer. Like it's firm, but it's creamy. Hopefully that's clear. I just love this. I love how my skin looks. It looks plump. It looks even. I mean, it's just some kind of magic. And I don't think you have to have this, but I do think this is beautiful, and I feel really blessed that I'm able to have it at my disposal, and I love using it. I don't use it every day because I've been loving the Tatcha Silk Canvas lately as well, but I love it, and I know when my skin needs it, and during the winter months is a really good time for me to use it. And then for a matte primer, because I do have use for a matte primer if I need my makeup on all day, or it's summertime and I'm hot, sweaty, oily, etc. The one I love that I discovered this year is an e.l.f. one. It's the e.l.f. Oil Control Matte Mist. This is a mist. I don't use it that way. I shake it. Sounds like a paint can. And then I spritz a few sprays of it into my hands, rub my hands together, and press it into my skin. And this thing, it's amazing. It's like, I don't know if people do it or if it would even be good for your skin, but it would be like if you would spray the Urban Decay All Nighter all over your face before you apply your makeup. It locks in your skincare, any oils that might even dream of coming out of your skin. This is fantastic. Of course, if it's 105 degrees with 95% humidity, maybe you're gonna have some meltage, but anybody would. That's a certainty. But this stuff is fantastic. Next is Best Foundation. I bet you guessed that. Normally I do an affordable option and a high-end option, but both of these are affordable this year, and I thought I'm not going to force a high-end option because I really don't use a high-end foundation. I have one that I like, but it's not even necessarily one that I used a lot or enjoyed a lot this year, and these two are. So, for the second year running in this category, the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation. I love this foundation.
This is probably
This is probably my more standard foundation. I love the big doe foot on here, or buck foot as Emily would say. I like this because I'm only using it on me and I'm only using it on clean skin, and I can just swipe it on and then blend it in. My one gripe is the packaging. It does have a little bit of a tendency to, as you push the doe foot back in, so just point it away from yourself, because I've learned it the hard way. And I just like this. It has a very natural finish on the skin, but it also has a decent amount of coverage. I just like it. It looks like healthy skin, and that's all I can say. And then one that I tried this year, Jessica Braun, this one's for you. The Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream. I have mine in the shade number 23. This does run kind of grayish a little bit, but once you blend it in, it doesn't look gray at all. And you know, especially once you put the rest of your makeup on, this is what I'm wearing today, and this is what I'm wearing most days. Every time I use this, I think to myself, why would I ever use anything else? This checks all of my boxes. Natural finish, long lasting, easy to apply. I use my fingers with this, and it's a good color. It's inexpensive, which is another great thing about it. It supposedly has UVA and UVB, SPF 42, PA+++, and it says high coverage. Depends on how much you use. I use one full pump, and like I said, I apply it and really work it into the skin with my fingers. Baby, this might be the only one I use next year. I just love it. Like I said, I don't know why I don't just use that one every day. Next is concealer, and I do have a more high-end versus affordable option for you in this category. The affordable option is another recommendation by Glam with Kelly. Of course, I'm going to have her link down below for you because I'm just raving about her. But this one really snuck in toward the end of the year for me. In fact, I tried this one right after I posted my ranking my concealers video, which I will link. And I tried this one and I was like, damn, this one beats them all. I like this one the best. And I do. It's the Revlon Candid, Photo Ready Candid Antioxidant Concealer. 027 Biscuit, or as I like to say, Biscuit. This is awesome. It is hydrating, has a good medium to full coverage, which I'm not mad about. It has this really interesting doe foot that kind of curves, but it's very fat on the end. And I just like the way I can turn it over to the tip where it's curved and like really target dots in there, or I can turn it on, it's flat, so I can just go shoo. And I don't seem to be able to get too much of this on my under eyes. It blends out beautifully. I just, who knew? And then a higher end one that I discovered this year, picked this up during one of the Ulta, maybe it was the 21 Days of Beauty. It was on sale for one of the days for half off. It is one that Emily Noel made me want to buy, but I had been waiting on it. And it's the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer in the shade Light. I like everything about this. First and foremost, when you apply this on the skin under your eyes, it feels cooling, but not because it has cooling properties in it. It feels cooling because it's like an instant burst, or like instantly hydration is soaking into your under eyes. And I just love it. It has one of those very flat, bendable doe foots on it. This is awesome. It is full coverage depending on the amount you use. I probably use it at a good medium to full coverage. Blends out beautifully, but this is beautiful. Absolutely would repurchase it even at full price. I think that says something. Next is powder, and again, we have an affordable option and a high-end option. The affordable is absolutely 100% my ride or die pressed powder, which happens to be from the drugstore, and it's the number 7 Perfect Light pressed powder. You can purchase this at most Targets, and I get mine in the translucent shade. And this is beautiful. This is actually what I use to set under my eyes. I did set my face with it today, although I did use the finishing powder that we're about to talk about. I didn't pick a loose powder option this year because I really don't have a favorite. I have beautiful loose powders, but none of them really ranks at this point in the game over the other. So I chose not to include it, but this is beautiful. It's absolutely the one I repurchase every time, and I haven't, since I started purchasing this, I haven't purchased another pressed powder. By the way, both of these are winners for the second year in a row. Number 7 and Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. This is in the shade Dim Light. It's the same one I had last year when I gave out these awards. I haven't used it up yet. I was just talking about in my New Year's Eve Get Ready With Me, in which I'm also wearing this, that I just need to keep this on my vanity and use it more. I've now, I bought this like almost 2 years ago. I need to use it. And then, you know, if finances permit or if I feel like inclined to do it, buy another one. Bronzer. In this category, I pick a matte option and a luminous option. And my matte option for this year is a cream. It is the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick in the shade Baked. I love this. It doesn't even look like I've made a dent in it. I mean, to be fair, it is rolled up, but I love this. Absolutely love it. Been getting really good use out of it this winter. This sets down completely, which I love. Long lasting, even more so than powders, which kind of duh, but maybe not. Anywho, I love this. Never thought I would love a cream bronzer, but I did lust for this for the first half of the year during my no buy, so really glad to have it in my collection, and that is my favorite matte bronzer of the year. L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronzed. This is in the shade Light. I personally would have never guessed that I could use anything in the light shade. It's satin. It's the one I'm wearing today. I've mentioned a couple of times on my channel now that this is the bronzer to fix all other bronzers. If it's looking a little orange, if it's looking a little patchy, if it's just not looking right, or you want to pair it by itself, pair it by itself. Want to use it by itself? This is the one. I love this. And that's really saying something, because honestly, I don't know. This has got to be one of the most perfect bronzers in my collection, high-end or affordable. Before we get into blush, I just want to mention, if you have any questions over any of these products, or you'd like to see them incorporated in the content coming soon on my channel, just let me know down in the comments. I love chatting with you guys. So, blush. I'm a self-professed blush enthusiast, and last year I only had 2 categories of blush to award, but this year I have 5 because I just couldn't choose, and I think these make sense. So last year I just had a warm tone blush and a cool tone blush, so we're going to start with that. For the second year running, for a warm toned blush, it is the e.l.f. online only blush in the shade Mellow Mauve. I've talked about this a lot. It's got a warm terracotta base and a cool bluish purple shift to it, which is just about impossible to show on camera, but I hope it picks up slightly at least. Either way, I love this. I'm so close to hating pan on this. I loved the month that I had this in my Shop My Stash because I got to use it as much as I wanted that month, and it's still a favorite. I kind of feel like I want to buy a backup in case e.l.f. would discontinue it, but I'm not in the habit of doing that, so I'll have to think about it harder. Cool tone blush is the one I'm wearing today from my New Year's Eve look. It's the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in the shade Mood Exposure. I don't know. I think it's so pretty. Absolutely gorgeous. It's like a plummy mauve swirled with luminous powder, and I love it. And then this year I introduced the 3 categories of matte blush, glowy blush, and cream blush. Mostly matte and glowy because we've seen a real increase in glowy blush this year in 2019. And of course cream, because it's been like cream city on the YouTube here. So starting with the matte blush, it is the Tarte Party Amazonian Clay Blush. This is actually a second year winner as well. This was the birthday gift from Sephora at some point. I love it. It's my perfect blush. If I can't decide what blush, I mean, it's either one of these two. It's either the e.l.f. Mellow Mauve or it's the Party Blush from Tarte. If I can't decide, or I'm in a hurry, if I'm wearing a warm look, I go with this one. If I'm wearing a cooler or look that would be better enhanced by a pinky blush, it's this one. So boom, both of them 2 years running. And then for a glowy blush, this is not a formula I'm unfamiliar. This is just a new shade, and it's the Butter Blush from Physicians Formula in the shade Saucy Mauve. This is stunning. I really need to dig this back out. It's just beautiful. It smells really good if you like the butter bronzer. I actually think the butter blushes even smell better, but this is beautiful. Okay, I'll swatch just this one. It's very unique, and it's so totally stunning. Here it is right there. It's mauvey. A lot of things have a tendency to pull pretty warm on me, as you can see on the back of my hand. But regardless, these butter blushes just blend like a dream. They very flattering and forgiving on the skin, and I just love it. It's not something that will emphasize texture on your face, as matte blushes can sometimes do. So I highly recommend the formula. I also have the shade Vintage Rouge, which is a beautiful corally red shade that I wore for my sister's wedding. And then last, for cream blush, actually it's liquid, maybe, whatever. It's the Flower Beauty Blush Balm in Pinched. And this is just a nude, but it's my favorite nude in my collection. I love how easy this is. I just take a dot and just dab it all over my cheeks, and it's done. If I wasn't wearing any makeup or very little makeup, it would be this, mascara, and some type of lip. So I love this thing. Okay, highlighter. While I do have some cream highlighters, I didn't feel the need to include them in this award. I'm just doing the same categories I did last year, which is subtle and blinding. And for the second year running in the subtle category, it's my little mini Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Powder in the shade 01 Highlight. This is gorgeous. It's just a very soft vanilla colored highlight of my dreams. It's just like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in that it just looks like your skin is glowing. It doesn't look like you're wearing makeup in that way. So I love this. I think I'll continue to love it. I think 2020 is going to be the year where I have to buy the full size of this. And I probably want to anyways, again, in case the discontinuing gods, decide to strike. You never know when that might happen. And then in the blinding category, this one took me for quite a shock when I swatched it at Ulta, and it is the Juvia's Place Tribe Highlighter Volume 3. I want to make sure I have it right. And it looks like this. Looks like nothing special, but it's stunning. It is the one that I am wearing today. I can't even describe it. Probably there's like the most accurate color. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Like, I just want to get rid of all of my highlighters and keep these two and maybe like 2 others, because that's all I want to wear. It's those 2 right there. And then a new category this year is Best Face Palette. And I had to include this because I am definitely enthusiastic about face palettes or all-in-one multi-purpose type palettes. So you may guess that the palette I am choosing this year is the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a Palette Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. First of all, this packaging is so luxe. Inside you have 3 shadows, bronzer, 2 blush-ish, and a highlight. And they're all stunning. I will link my review to this product down below because it's absolutely gorgeous. But this is already going to be a very long video, and this was it for me. I made damage in this thing. Like, there's several shades where you can't see the embossing anymore, and that's saying something because I've had an influx of stuff. This was the best mascara of the year, and it's the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara. I've talked about this again ad nauseum, many videos. This one's so dried out. This is what the wand looks like, but it's the formula that really makes it good. An hourglass wand is just nothing new or special. It's this formula. It lengthens the lashes, it thickens the lashes without being clumpy or artificial looking, but it also holds a curl like a bad mama jamma, and this is just thebomb.com. This is the one I'll repurchase if I ever run out of the backups that I receive as gifts with purchase. So I've expanded the palette category a little bit this year, just mostly because I have too many and it's hard to choose, but we're still going to go with the original categories for the first 2. That is the best neutral palette and the best colorful palette that I tried, used, or loved this year. And for neutral, hands down, the e.l.f. The New Classics palette. But it looks like this. I love this. I love that it has cool tones and warm tones. It has nice, deeper shimmers as well as highlighting shimmer shades. This is beautiful. If you're new to eyeshadow or if you're thinking about buying a palette for someone who is, I definitely recommend this one. It's so beautiful. I can't say enough good things about it, and I probably shouldn't because, again, this is a long video. And then for the best colorful palette of the year, it's the ABH Norvina Volume 1. This is the one I've reached for the most. You know, keeping in mind that I bought a lot of stuff this year. This is what it looks like, and I just like this color story the best. My brain computes when I look at this color story. As much as I love the other 2 palettes, they can like throw the eye just a little bit based on how they're organized or, you know, arranged. So love this palette. If you were going to pick one of the 3, this would be the one I would recommend. Of course, only if it's your color story, but I also think the quality in this palette is superior, so boom! Here is my top 5 eyeshadow palettes from 2019, in addition to the ones that we already talked about. Coming in at number 5, which is actually quite a surprise to me because I used the heck out of this palette this year, my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I did work on panning this palette for a good part of the year, and I did hit pan on
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shades,
which is damn good if you ask me. The reason why this came into the top 5 is because I panned this religiously for a minimum of 6 months, and I still like it. In fact, I think one of the reasons that I'm so happy about this palette and keen to put it in this small group here is that it was a palette that I bought very early on, and there was a lot of times where I'm like, that was probably a dumb thing to buy. Turns out, not so much. I used it a lot this year, and I love it still, so woohoo! Number 5. Coming in at number 4 is the newest palette out of the 5 that I bought this year. Does that make sense? And it's the Carly Bible ABH palette. I will say I feel like Jackie Aina was done dirty in terms of releases. And I did buy that palette, and I'm working on 7 looks right now. But Carly, I love it. I can't include Jackie in this video because I'm not even done reviewing it. But I do love this palette. I like the ease of use. I like the color story. I like the tones. I like that you're not getting anything too deep in here. It just makes it easy to use, easy to grab for, and that's that. Coming in at number 3 is a palette that I've just enjoyed the heck out of. It has quite a few perfect shades in it, according to me and according to my wants and my needs, and it's the ColourPop and Kathleen Light's Dream Street palette. I slept on this so long, it was in the form of my face, but I'm so glad I bought it. There's some beautiful shades in here. This is my perfect, like, deep plummy brown. Where is it? This is like my perfect transition shade. The whole thing, it's perfect. I love it. I'm so glad I finally listened to my instincts about this one and bought it, even though it was way past. Like, it wasn't even a twinkle in people's eyes anymore. Number 2 is a palette that won last year's neutral category, and that is the Persona Identity palette. This thing gets so much love, it's not even funny. I'm sure you can see all of the dips in here. Definitely one of my most used palettes. It is perfect in every way. The formula, how it looks, how it applies, the versatility of the palette, just all of it. So I highly recommend this if you don't have this yet. I do have the Persona 2, of which 7 looks will come eventually, but I highly recommend this one, and that's why it's still at number 2. And then my number 1 palette for this year, for a myriad of reasons, is my Natasha Denona Gold palette. First and foremost, this was a beautiful, luxurious, expensive, and probably very hard to give gift from my husband, and it's me. This is me. Yellow's my favorite color. It's been my favorite color since kindergarten, in case you want to know. And I also really happen to love teal. And so this gold and brown and teal and yellowy palette is like the bee's knees to me. And it's really fun working with all of these different textures and different formulas. And I'm not going to continue to go on and on about it, but I did do a look with this recently in my 1 week of glitter and glam, so I will link that video down below. Just a few more left. Best movie. That would be my favorite video that I put out or posted this year on YouTube. And that's an easy one, even though it wasn't super well received. I don't know if anybody knew what to make of it or they just didn't care, but it was my beauty bloopers. I make all kinds of funny faces. I say stupid things. I stumble over my words, as you can see, and I just thought it was fun to like collect those things for a couple of months and then just put them all together as a montage and show you how stupid I can look behind the camera sometimes. So I will link that video down below in case you missed it, but that was my favorite video that I made this year. So this is what you might call like the up-and-coming actor/actress award. And this is just a product that's new to my collection that is a best product. It's something I would put in the best of category if it wasn't so new to my collection. And this year it is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter for Superstar Youth Glow. Who doesn't need that in their life? Anywho, I love this product. We've already talked about it, but this is a new product in my collection of which I could review for you right now that I've had it long enough, and it is one of the best products I've tried this year. That's all it is. Worst product of the year. I actually didn't even really have to think about this one. This was relatively recent, within the last half of the year, and this was just terrible. Like, I'm so glad that this was like a sample, that I didn't pay money for this, because I would have been really, really angry had I spent money on this. It comes from Dior, and it's the Dior Show mascara. This is what the wand looks like. You know, this is a little sample. It doesn't even twist closed, like it just goes in there. And still, after months of sitting in my empty, this smells like perfume, and worse than that, it smells like rose, like a really cheap rose perfume, or maybe even possibly a very old rose perfume that's been sitting on somebody's chest of drawers for 50 years. It stinks. Why in anybody's name would you put that much fragrance in a mascara? It stinks, and also it irritated my eyes, probably because of the amount of fragrance that is in this mascara, which you put by your eyes. So this was an easy one for me. This thing sucks. Tell your friends. Let's not waste any money on this shenanigans. So the last two awards come from my prediction for the 2020 Journey and Beauty Awards, a product that I predict will win a category or an award in the next year. And then I also want to check in and tell you what my prediction was last year and whether or not I was right. So last year, my prediction was that the Kevyn Aucoin Neo Bronzer in Sienna would be somewhere in these products that won awards, and I was wrong. And it's not that I don't love this, because I absolutely do. Again, this was a beautiful gift from my husband. I love it. I use it. It just so happens it didn't win any categories this year. So I was wrong about that one. We'll see next year if I'm wrong about this one, but I predict in 2020 this product will win one category or another. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize Shadow in the shade Marie Antoinette. Oh lordy. I know you haven't even seen me haul this or use this on my channel yet, but I've used it quite a bit over the holiday season behind the scenes, because it's just so freaking easy. Again, this is Jessica Braun's fault. This is very different from a lot of cream shadows that I tried. This is very soft and moussey, and almost to the point of like, yikes, when I stuck a brush into here. But I like it just like I like other cream shadows, for the ease of use. I like just putting this on my lid, using a brush to blend it a little bit up into the crease and fade the edges, maybe a highlighter in the inner corner, and I'm done. And I love this formula. This formula is the shiz. And I predict that this will win some category, even if I have to create one. No, I'm just kidding. Next year in 2020. My Lanta. That's finally the end. If you made it to the end of the awards, put a, like, the little trophy emoji down in the comments. I'm just curious if any of you actually made it through this very long video. But I'm going to try not to cut out too much. This was just supposed to be fun. You can watch it in bits and bobs. And thank you guys so much for this 2019 on my channel. I couldn't do this and probably wouldn't talk to the camera in a room by myself if it weren't for you guys. So thank you to each and every one of you who likes, comments, and subscribes. But most of all, thank you to all of you who watch my videos. And with all of that said, Happy New Year. I'll see you in 2020. I love you all, and I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, beautiful award-winning makeup days, and I will see you in my next video real soon.